it's just, once again, this is so humbling because I feel good one day and I'm like, the next day I look to the past. I'm like, fuck, I should have.
Totally. I get it. Listen,
it's like a black hole trying to consume as much information as possible. And then one day you're comfortable, the next day you're uncomfortable with who you were yesterday.
Sure.
But it's a great process.
Well, listen, I think Krista asked me this recently or somebody did, right? They asked me also, have you ever had somebody in a lesson stop you and say, I don't want to do this anymore?
Ooh.
Right?
Have you?
Yep.
Shut the fuck up.
Not in a fucking long time, right? But here's the thing. Even though I know I wasn't in those situations doing anything, it was a situation like yours, right? Leash pressure stuff, dogs freaking out, dogs losing their cool.
Should have been fine.
Yeah, I remember one situation in particular. I'll explain it real quick. This is
please.
how we're going to end it. So I was doing a 2-hour-long 2-dog session, right? It was 2 boxers. They were litter mates, and they were about 2 years old, and they were absolute psycho fucking pass, right? Anxious, reactive, just absolutely uncontrollable. They had done for the last year positive only training with different places, and this was we're going to try this, right? We're going to try the balanced training approach, right?
Did they buy a full package?
Or a full package for the dogs, full 7 session, I think, for both of the dogs, whatever. 2-hour first session. We fit the dogs up with prong collars. And, dude, I'm not even joking. Like, just holding the prong, dogs absolutely losing their marbles.
Without it even on?
No, I mean, like, on, but I'm just holding the leash. I'm not, like, actively training or doing anything or anything like that. It's just every time they felt that pressure, they're just freaking the fuck out, right? Like we just talked about, it's not because it was creating pain. It's not because the prong collar didn't work with those dogs. It's because they got away for the last 2 years with doing whatever they want and only having positive only training done to them, right? So they needed to have it work through. So in my mind, from a training standpoint, I need to work these dogs past this, right? We're going to keep working on it. And listen, it was like 2 hours of struggle with both of the dogs, right? Like 2 hours of chaos, right? Them freaking out, them kind of getting somewhere, then sliding back and this and that. And in my mind, I'm like, damn, these people need to realize like, this is why you guys are here. This is the boat you're in. This is what we need to work on, right? We ended with a little bit of success, this, that, right? And I remember the session, like the owners were pretty quiet most of the session, right? I got a phone call the next morning from the husband. Hey, we were really upset with the training yesterday. We really didn't like how it went. We've decided that we're not going to continue to pursue this. I was like, oh, okay, well, I gave them their money back, whatever, right? And looking at that again, you could from an egotistical place be like, you don't fucking get it, right? But it's my job to show them it. It's my job to explain it and get them to get it, right? And I didn't spend enough time when I started seeing how bad that was, explaining everything to them and explaining how that correlated to the issues that they had and all this kind of stuff, right? So because of that, I lost the business. And I had somebody that left there thinking David the dog trainer is a fucking idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing, right? He's, potentially he's abusing dogs, right? Or doing anything like that, right? So that's the importance of, again, it's not that you did anything wrong as a trainer, but what you did wrong was just not explain what you were doing well enough, right? Where I don't want anybody to feel like that throughout a session, right? So the second I start seeing that, I try to be really conscious of it. I'm so in tune with perception, I feel like, and how we're being perceived as a whole, because we already have such a negative perception on what we're doing
stigmas
to begin with. There's so many stigmas on it, right? So, if a new client walks into the facility and a dog jumps on a pen in the back and I tell him no and give him a big correction, the dog's like, whoa, right? I am aware, I could look at that and be like, whoa, this brand new person just walked in and the first thing they fucking saw is that, right? I know we're not doing anything wrong. I know we're not abusing dogs or hurting dogs or anything like that, but some people need to be eased into that kind of stuff. And until I have a relationship with that client, I'm hyper aware of those things.
And even as a man, to be honest, in my opinion, you can get away with less than, if a female were, a softer voice female were training a dog and it reacted a little bit, they might give her a little bit more slack. That's just me.
Sure.
But if you're doing it for the right reason, I still think about that dog. The parents aside, whatnot, I still think the worst part about that was, and I'm sure you can relate, is that realizing how fucked up those dogs were, and how unhappy and anxious they had to go through their lives feeling, and knowing that I couldn't help them.
Yeah, for sure.
That
100%, man.
That's the worst.
You know,
That's the worst part about it.
these are the learning, these are the learning
I'm just like,
experiences.
why won't you let me help you?
You figure this stuff out, but again, and I could have done everything correctly, and I could have explained it and everything, and maybe they still would have been those types of people that it's like, listen, this isn't for us, and that's fine. But I will always try to look at things of what did I do wrong? What could I have done better? And I think that's how you keep growing, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a good one to end on right there.
Yeah,
that's fucking good.
Keep growing.
that's good.
I've never talked about that. That's good. I like.
Yeah.
These are things that you learn from, right? And these are things that new trainers need to hear, I think. These are things that are important to always check, not get too in on yourself.